Hello, everyone. The topic for the day is basically team leadership. We will be talking about leadership and what it all takes to lead a team very effectively in this particular presentation. So, let us proceed. For the agenda, we will talk about the different types of team leaders that have been prevalent and are successful. We will also discuss the roles and responsibilities of an effective team leader. Describe the leader's roles in resource management. Now, what is resource management? Is allocation of resources to various team members. Remember, it is an optimum utilization, and the productivity of the team depends on the leadership abilities only. So, describe the delegation process. Definitely, yes. Strategies for team leaders to include brief, hurdles, and debrief. Now, these are the meetings, how to conduct the meeting, be it a short and a snap one, or a long and a detailed meeting, what is to do, as in huddle, briefing, and debriefing concepts. How effective a team leader facilitate the conflict resolutions, identify the barriers, tools, strategies, and the outcome of the leadership. Look out here, we are talking about performances. Performances, the impact is on only four parameters: leadership, situational monitoring, communication, and mutual support. As is the case which we have been trying to tell it out. I say leadership, situation monitoring, mutual support, and communication. This is all about the pre, uh, critical care things about the team that needs to be taken care of in terms of performance, knowledge, and attitude. Remember, we are going to handle leadership from this particular slide. As a team leader, there are basically two types of leader. One is the designated leaders vis-a-vis by the administrative position or the appointment that has been there. The person assigned to lead and organize the designated core team, establish clear goals, facilitate open communication and teamwork among the team members. This is what I say the designated team leader. But then there are leaders who get manifested or who get propelled into a leadership position just on account of situation. Any team members who has the skill to manage a situation at hand. Now this particular person is propelled to assume the leadership position because of the emerging situation. Let us understand how and what all the requirements of an effective team leader. We need to organize the team, articulate or specify the goals in clear, lucid, simple languages, make decision through collective inputs of the member. We need to empower members to speak up, challenge when appropriate, actively promote and facilitate good teamwork. Are you enough skillful at conflict resolution, as the case might be? Definitely, if required, we need to proceed out there. It is what effective team leader is all about. It resource management, a strategy for achieving workload balance within and across teams in a unit. Refer to people, knowledge, information, materials, and time that can be drawn upon to accomplish a task. Goal is to prevent work of overload. Goal is to ensure that there is uniformity as far as responsibility and tasks are divided among the team member. Goal is to ensure that there is a perfect coordination among the team member with respect to the completion of the tasks, the compromise situation awareness, and simply eliminate any risk of error as such. So yes, a strategy to achieve workload balance within and across the team member is what exactly is resource management. Remember, we are talking in terms of people, knowledge, information, material, time that needs to be allocated as on when on basis. Yes, you talk it, we are the employees that has been depicted in this particular picture. It's the human capital that we need to look into the core team members and the coordinating team leaders. The core team leaders are would be information, residency, family, plan of care, facilities. These are the information per se. So what are the resources we are looking at? It information, time, and equipment. Of information, everything about the personal usage, everything that needs to be taken care of in terms of future scope and facilities thereof. So this is where you got to focus for your team and your unit. When It is not your team, but on your workflow. What do you focus on? It is the information being administrative and facilities, time, equipment, resident flow, and others department is what is mandatory. That is required for coordinating a team leader, as the case might be. Remember, we are here to accomplish the goal, and the team leader is the one to achieve, steer the directions, and the complete team and group towards the attainment of that goal. We can do it with the form of delegations. You look at it where there has been delegated in the method of redistributing tasks or reassigning altogether people and allocating different kind of duties and responsibility as the passage of time would be gaining around it. Process include four steps: what to delegate, what or whom to delegate, communicate clear expectation, and request feedback as on when on basis. So you need to understand for delegation, you need to decide upon which tasks to delegate, who is going to man those tasks, and once you have assigned a person to the task, clearly explain to the person what are the end objectives that you are looking for or soliciting, and always encourage them to give feedback in case if they are facing any hindrance, in case if they require any guidance, in case if they have exceeded or succeeded in achieving the goals at a shorter duration of time. A proper feedback is what is warranted. Effective leaders cultivate desired behaviors in the team and skills through open sharing of information, role modeling, and effective cueing of team members to use prescribed teamwork behaviors. Remember, this is what we are looking as far as constructive and timely feedback is concerned. The facilitation of briefs, huddle, debriefs, and conflict resolution. Yes, these are the things that we are all looking forward to, as in promoting and modeling a teamwork thereby. Remember, it is the camaraderie that we want to build in, it is the trust that we want to build in, it is an open communication and transparency in the operation is what is desired to foster a strong bond among the team members. Team events are briefs and planning. Huddles are all about immediate solving of problems. Debriefs are process improvement as to what have we done, how we have overcome, or what are the impediments that have been coming across. So we debrief, and in fact, debriefing is always at the end of a situation, at the end of a solving a problem, at the end of a shift, and so on and so forth. So you know, and briefing, you are planning for the future, and debriefing whatever you have done in the past is what is going around it. In terms of hurdles, is in between a small meeting wherein you are actually facing a problem and thinking and soliciting ways and inputs to mitigate the problem. Leaders are responsible to assemble the team and facilitate team events. And do remember, I keep on saying it, anyone can request a brief, anyone can request a huddle, anyone can request a debrief. Why? Because this will only mean that there is a vibrant communication, a sense of responsibility and transparency existing within each of the team members that is there, and that is why we call team event, which is very very important. So let us understand and talk about brief, huddle, and debriefing process. Now, I have already recounted that briefing is everything about the future orientation. So you are forming a team. You are designated as roles to every individual, their responsibility, and defining what has been is expected. Establishing climate and goals, encourage team in short and long term planning, as the case may be. This is what we are entangled into. That is what the briefs is all about. It planning essential for teams leader usually, remember, usually initiate the planning process as to set the ball rolling, define the goal, define the objective, and then when solicit cooperation from the team members in the planning process as what can be done and who can do it, what is the issue, and how early can we facilitate that or complete the task. Team members have common understanding of the problem and the role, and it is up to the leader to dissect the problem, elaborate upon the roles and the problem through each of the team member, as the case might be. Brief checklist: who is on the core team, all members understand and agree upon the goals, roles and responsibility understood, plan of care, staff availability, workload, and available resources, thereby, as the case is all about it. This is what the briefing checklist should incorporate. You should always have a checklist in place so that you don't miss out any of the points and probably regret that this has not been communicated in front of the team members. So let us now, we have spoken everything about briefing. Let us dwell into huddle before we wind up debriefing and complete this particular presentation. Huddle is problem solving. It is hold ad hoc touch base. Now, what is touch base is as on when on basis you encounter a problem or you encounter a success. Can we disseminate the information? Can we solicit inputs from your team member so that there is a greater awareness about the situation and the development? Discuss critical issues and the emerging events, anticipate outcomes and likely contingencies as the case might be, assign resources, express concern. And this is how we come to it. Huddle is a small snap meeting which is during the process of the ongoing process altogether, during the event, during when we are actually in the midst of the operation. If there are any issues, it can be resolved with a quick meeting called huddle out there. Now debrief, let us understand debrief. Debrief is nothing but the end, at the end of the day, at the end of the shift, at the end of solving the problem, at the end of handling a situation. It is what we look at the back as what we have done, what could have been done in a better aspect, or could have handled in a better fashion. Brief, informal information exchange and feedback session occur after an event or a shift, designed to improve teamwork skills, designed to improve outcomes and accurate reconstruction of key events, analyze of why a particular event has occurred, analyze what could have been done differently the next time we encounter a similar event. Now, this is, as I've said, it is a post-event activity, or should I say post-event meeting. It is the informal exchanges that comes around with a feedback session, occurs anything and everything. You can incorporate anything, and remember, it helps you to be better prepared for the future oncoming event. Again, the debrief checklist is what we need to always do it. It is all about communication, the clarity in the communication, the language in the communication. It is keeping everybody on board. Everybody should understand what is their expectation from their roles and responsibility. Situational awareness maintained, workload distribution. Did we ask for or offer any assistance? If so, if everybody has been utilized optimally, if they have been behaving responsibly, as the case might be, where errors been made or avoided, what went well and what should have changed, as what can be improved. This is what needs to be done as a checklist for debriefing session. Facilitating conflict of resolutions. Effective leaders facilitate the conflict of resolution through invoking what? Two challenge rule and the desk script, as you call it. Keep on renaming it as a desk script, as the case might be. So, what are the effective leadership that comes around it? How do you go about? This is where we need to understand, as the effective leaders also assist by helping the masters team member master the conflict as far as anything that comes around it. We need to go about it. How do we retain as far as possible? What can be done? How do we cooperate? How do we assign some sort of camaraderie, some sort of feelers to our team member? And that is what effective leaders are supposed to go around in the first place. Now, this is where we need to understand. Uh, we need to understand the descript clearly. Remember, D stands for description. Describe the problem. Give an objective and concrete description of what you observe. Using, I would recommend the I statement. I statement. I have observed this. I would see this, that this happened. Then what is E stands for? E stands for effect. Explain the effect or impact it had on your business, the team, or its member. You need to see that what was your operation, what was the operation, how did it impact or affect the whole team operation in the first place, how did it enable your objective attainment goal. If effect was an emotion, name it. Your body language, your tone of voice will already be showing on your elation or frustration. So this is what the effect. D stands for description, E stands for effect, S is all about solution. Behind the solution through a directive as to what would you have done the best thing in the next possible scenario. And I would refer that if you have a participative approach, the last one of the four-step methods of D for describe, E for effect, S for solution, and C for conclusion. Build a contract of commitment. Check your understanding of what you have agreed upon and get commitment for the future. And this is what the text script is all about for removing all form of conflict. Now let us talk about the team leadership as the case might be. We are talking about barriers. They might be in hierarchical in nature, might be traditional thought process that comes around it, lack of information, lack of resources, or resources will not being shared, ineffective communication or opaque communication, or people not extending cooperation. This is all about barriers, the conflict that comes around it. It is the confusion or probably contesting on to the information, resources, you name it, and we have. So how do we handle this thing? The strategies, the tools are always been mentioned in detail in this presentation of having meeting at the very beginning, during the event, and after the event. So beginning of the event will be brief, during the event would be huddle, and at the end of the event would be debriefing. The outcomes is shared mental models. Adaptability is what we are looking at it. Team orientation and mutual trust. Remember the desk model is describe, effect, solve solutions, and what comes with the conclusion that comes around it. So that is what we will look about it. So, teamwork actions is empower team members to speak freely, have that empathy, give them that confidence, and trust your team member. I'm sure it is going to help you use resources efficiently to maximize the team performance, balance workload with the team, delegate task or assignment as appropriate, conduct brief huddles and debrief, use conflict resolutions as on when on basis, as the case might be. All about it is what we are looking through. Use the conflict resolution technique of two challenge rule. Two challenge rule is all having the hypothesis and the null hypothesis. The desk is describe, we call to D for describe, E for effect, S for solution, and last of all about it is C for conclusion. If we can work on these models, I'm sure you will be an emphatic team leaders. With these few words, I come to the conclusion of this presentation, and I thank each one of you in watching my presentation. Thank you very much.